Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being part of this presentation. This is Alberto, right, with Eaton Marketing, and today we're going to talk about U-Line. This line offers amazing solutions or food and beverage equipment related to hospitality, hotels, stadium venues, restaurants, nice clubs, bars, and just to say a few. And they also offer equipment for the health industry and scientific research. But today we're going to touch only on coffee and ice machines, because otherwise we'll need the whole day, to talk about these lines. And I would like to introduce Michael Mozzicato. Michael is the National Sales Manager for both U-Line and Marvel. And Michael is available to answer your questions at the end of the presentation. Michael, here you go.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. What a great way to get my name introduced by someone with an Italian accent. Very good. Michael Mozzicato. Thank you very much. Today, we're going to start with an overview of U-Line and U-Line commercial products. It's new to us. It's really just started shipping in the last few months. And we will be hitting on two really important topics. One is on Nitro Brew and cold brew coffee machines and dispensers, and also some ice machines that are brand new for the commercial marketplace. The first slide here, just next one, sorry, is kind of important because we've made this a stress to let our customers know, and it's been well received, that we are located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Our line, we've been creating refrigeration since 1962, so we have quite a history in the wine preservation, ice machines, and mostly in the residential market. And although we design a lot of products for homeowners, what you're seeing today will be the products that we brought into commercial settings. Middleby offers solutions. U-Line's been a part of Middleby for the last 6 years. We've been mostly involved in the residential lineup with their residential brands, but over the last year and a half, we've attended the NAFM NRA shows and been very much involved in bringing out a line of commercial refrigeration and ice makers for the marketplace. Commercial, what are we talking about? Middleby is everything commercial food equipment. And we've made that decision to work with them in this commercial industry. And we happen to have some really big winners right out of the chute. And I think that that's important. And we're going to hit on the single biggest one today. It's going to be coffee. But as you can see, look at the 4 or 5 categories we have in products of what we call our commercial collection products. By the way, all of these are now in auto quotes. They're online. The pricing hasn't been loaded in, but that should be done this week. But as you can see, we have configurable bar refrigeration, 32-inch, 52, 72, and 92 inches. Several variables can be added to the collection. Refrigerators, we're the only one out there with a prominent collection of 15 and 18-inch units in addition to our 24-inch unit. Wine refrigerators, we're the king of wine storage in the residential market, and we're bringing that same idea to the commercial market. And sizes here are 15, 18, and 24 inches. The last 2 items is what we're going to talk about today, though. We're going to talk about dispensers. What you're looking at is the Nitro Brew and cold brew coffee dispenser. We make it in both 15-inch and 24-inch. And we're also looking at an under-counter line of ice machines, NSF approved, for the commercial market. So what are we talking about here? The introduction of Nitro Brew and cold brew coffee dispenser. For those of you who've not seen the joy of watching, this is Nitro Brew in action. I'll be honest, that was the first time I think I've actually played that video. I hope everybody got a chance to hear it. The music is just the background, but as you could see, when you get a Nitro Brew coffee, it's like what we call the evolution of coffee, because we've gone through the drip, then we all went to the espresso routine, and the next thing that came out was nitrogen infused coffee. And it infuses thousands of micro nitrogen bubbles as the coffee is dispensed. And this will create a natural, slightly sweet taste and a thicker and smoother texture. And the simplicity of it, you just simply fill the keg with your favorite cold coffee or tea and you're ready to go. Off to the left in the picture here, you'll see the U-Line Nitro Brew and cold brew dispenser side by side. We build a unit that has a tower with the choice of either iced cold brew coffee that's still on the left or the Nitro Brew coffee on the right. Both of them are served chilled from the refrigeration in the unit. And as you could see in the picture, there's a pretty good looking comparison of the two. If anybody hasn't tried it, go stop by Starbucks on any given time. It's one of their biggest single profit growth categories from last year and into this year. That Nitro Brew and cold brew dispensers that you see in these photos are both supplied by ULine, and the power, the patent on the technology to make the nitro infusion is by a company called Joe Tap that is also owned by Middleby. But if you can see in this picture, these are actual pictures from a Starbucks. And on the bottom left-hand side, you can see the U-Line refrigerator there, refrigerating the coffee while it's waiting to be served. What are the key features and where are we talking about in coffee? This particular model is 15 inches wide. It has a commercial list of $52.99. And this includes what this package is: refrigeration cabinet, the tower, the 2 tap heads, all the inside tubing and hardware, the black tap handles, drip tray, and casters. You'll see on the inside, you can hold either 2.5 gallon, a 3 gallon, or a 5 gallon coffee keg and the nitrogen tank. And it's all NSF certified. Let's show you a little bit more. The 15-inch coffee dispenser you get with either 2 tap or 3 tap. What's interesting about this is the basic one on the left, and you get a good picture of the 2.5 gallon keg inside there, will have nitro cold brew coffee on the right and still, or left, excuse me, and then on the right tap is a still coffee. As you get to the next one on the right, that's a 3 tap. I don't know if you can zoom in and see it closer, but the left and center taps will be Nitro Brew coffee, and the right tap will be the still coffee. And again, it'll accommodate the same coffee kegs and nitrogen tank. Why have the extra capacity? It's simply because if we find ourselves in coffee shop applications that are doing a lot more business, they have an opportunity to have something that will bring out the nitrogen a lot faster, and especially if 2 people are using it at the same time. Another advantage of both of these units is they're on casters, or they can be built in, which means you can roll them to where you have to because everything's included. All the tank, the nitrogen tank, the hoses, everything is in there. You just have to plug it in. If you build it in, you can put it under the counter, put the tap on top of the counter. You can do it a lot of different ways. This has 0 clearance, which means you can build it right in, and the only flow of air comes from the bottom of the unit where you see the grill there. It is the most compact, best used system ever designed. We take the same one a step further and we make a 24-inch version of it. Again, with the 24-inch version, you can put more tanks inside. These are two examples. The one on the left shows you with 4 taps, you put 2 nitro and 2 still ones, and it'll accommodate the same type of kegs, just a little bit more. In addition to that, on the right side, you can see one that was actually can be adapted to having wine and beer along with nitro coffee and still coffee. It's a one-stop for places that are a small business. A lot of times the hotels love this idea. They can roll it up and have an instant bar wherever they want to set it up and be able to serve all kinds and varieties of kegs, people for coffee and etc. Here's a little bit of an inside view of the units. You see on the left side, it's a 24-inch unit. So we've added the nitrogen tank and a couple of small 2.5-gallon coffee. The center one shows a 5-gallon coffee tank, and on the right you see a 2.5-gallon coffee tank. But it's simplicity at its easiest. And as a matter of fact, just to change tanks, when they go dry, it takes about 3 seconds. You just pop the 2 end couplers off the in and out of the tank, and then you plug them into the new one. Very, very simple. We do have some available accessories, so they can get a keg. We can get the nitrogen regulator, the nitrogen tank, and we also have coffee cleaners. So there's accessories that you can get with the products. This is just a basic example. Up until last year, Micromatic had the rights to distribute Joe Tap technology in their tappers. And I think while they do still sell some of it, I don't think they've changed over to a different type of nitrogen infused system. But to give you one look at the value of this particular product in comparison, the Nitro Brew, powered by Joe Tap by ULine, what we just talked about, is $52.99 list. The 17-inch Microtech unit sells for substantially more, $7,900. And when you can look at features across the board, we're smaller in 15-inch versus 17. We both have a very similar capacity. Theirs has a little bit more because of the 17-inch versus 15-inch. We put in a digital thermostat. We all have drip trays. Solid dirt, just so many features were very similar. The sides with the U-Line, it's standard stainless steel, and with the Micromatic, it's black vinyl. And we have the environmentally conscious gas, the R600, and the R134A is supposed to be ending by the end of this year, I'm told, as far as that goes. We also have a bigger horsepower in the compressor, and we both have the NSF approval. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you look at the value, what we've done is we've hit a really good looking, versatile product that has the value of one or a couple other products that are on the market at a substantially lower opportunity price. What I learned recently, before I finish up and go to the Nugget Ice, what I learned recently is some of these small coffee shops can make this investment in this coffee machine. And what they're going to find is that return on investment could probably be done in window of about 3 months. And then it's pure profit. One of the things that people talk about is how easy is it to make that coffee? And it's nothing more than, I was looking for another slide here. Oh, I guess I'm not going to get it. It's nothing more than being able to take your coffee grinds at night. This is how Starbucks does it. They have like a cheesecloth bag. They put it into 5 gallons of water, and they leave it in the refrigerator overnight in each store. And in the morning, the stores get it. They fill up the containers with it, the coffee kegs. So they have one in there and a couple backups, and they're ready to go. It's a pretty simple process to make a product. So look to ULine as the opportunity for a product that gives you the middle-B relationship. It also gives you a company, ULine, that's been making products for well over 60 years. And then we look at the ability to control the marketplace in terms of nitro brew and cold brew opportunities in your marketplace. Next item is the Nugget Ice Machine. Some people heard of Nugget and they have some different names to it. What we're talking about here though, and I gave you a little picture here of which ice do you prefer. ULine sells many types of ice makers, but they zero in on 3 types of ice cubes. On the left side, you'll see the Nugget Ice Machine, and what it will produce, it'll produce that little Nugget Cube on the left. Then we make clear ice machines, so you have that square clear cube, and then on the right we have the crescent ice makers. They're all making ice in different ways. The Nugget Ice compresses chips of ice into a small hard nugget. The clear ice machines have a fractional freezing system that eliminates air and contaminants from the cube as it builds what we call fractional freezing, a cube so that it's 3/4 of an inch square. And on the right side is the crescent ice maker, which is very common. People know about it because many of the common refrigerators today have one built into the freezer. And while there's entire presentations on all 3, we're going to focus today on why Nugget Ice and let you know a little bit about our Nugget machine versus some others in the marketplace. Here's a little video about it. So the first unit that we're going to bring out in the Nugget Ice for commercial is the 15-inch version. It's called the 1 class. It comes standard with a factory installed drain pump, very easy to clean, and it also has that you choose feature, which is 5 levels of ice density. And what that means is when you turn the unit on, it's set at 0, which means you're getting the hard, thick cubes down at the bottom right in the pictures. But you can lower that density to -1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at -5, as shown in that example here, you get that soft, chewable type ice that a lot of people have. Ice density adjustment, and I say a lot of people have, they've seen it because they've been in places like hospitals, and we have a sister company called Follett, and we use their technology to make our ice cubes, except we're the first one to have a single machine choose and alternate instantly from one type of cube, from the hard dense one to the soft and chewable one. Without any changing of the system at all. It fits under counter. You get 15 inches wide, ADA height or standard height, which means you can get them in 32, 34 inches. Now, not every model is available right out of the chute. I think right now we have the standard 34-inch that's available on the commercial side of the business, and we'll introduce the others during the summer. Ice production remains at 90 pounds of ice a day. That's more than any other under-counter ice machine out there, especially in the 15-inch class, without getting into some of the bigger commercial type units. It'll also store 30 pounds of ice, which is a substantial amount of storage. This could be used a lot of small cafes. I just did a ghost kitchen where they're using one of these along with a built-in Nitro Brew coffee dispenser. I'm losing my place here. Sorry about that. We also have some other features that'll come on some of the different units. One of them is a built-in water feature for a water dispenser, and the other is the filter that allows you to change the filter from the front inside the unit as opposed to having to go around the back and pulling it out. Included in every unit we sell, we include an ice cleaner to clean the machine. Any given time during the year, if I get a call and somebody says, you know, my ice maker is not working, it's not working like it used to, I ask them, when's the last time you cleaned it? And they'll say, I didn't know I had to. And that's usually the number one reason why people call about ice machines not performing to what they should be. We suggest you do it at least a couple times a year. This machine will warn you when it's time to, also alert you when it's time to clean the unit. It also has an automatic shutoff sensor. This is a protection against, if in case there's a faulty water line connection. Sometimes you don't know who does the installation, and they install it and then walk away. Once water is detected in the base, the unit shuts down, and we can be alerted so that you can get it repaired without damaging your floors. This is kind of important too. During ice production, 100% of the water used becomes ice. Whereas in some other types of cubes, like the clear ice, they use a substantial amount of water just to make the ice cubes. And that's only because the wastewater is being flushed away as new water enters it. With this, the filtered water is able to become 100% purely used. Just to give you a quick view of these 5 key points in the summary, if you look at us versus other company brands, Scotsman, Perlick, Hojosaki, that have the this type of unit, you could see ULine gives you the highest production, the most storage, the most ice adjustability, nobody has that. Water dispenser and filter, nobody, and easiest to clean. So there's some important features about it. As the companies learn more about this type of product, there's a push towards this idea of the Nugget type cube. It's already popular because of Follett in some of the fast food and hospital applications. And just to quickly show you how the ice is made, and the water goes into a small reservoir, and I'll show you here, and you can see the reservoir on the left and that auger. And what it does is it freezes like a metal tube that's in the inside, and the auger scrapes the ice off the tube and then pushes and compresses it and puts it up the tube and pops it out into the unit. As it falls, it breaks into the tube, into little tiny cubes, or nuggets as we call them. A drain is required, as is the same with clear ice machines that are out there. And that's because the bin is not refrigerated. It's like a cooler. And just like ice in a cooler, it's insulated, but it's always dripping a little water. This is great because the ice stays chewable and scoopable. And it always gives you continuous ice, and it tastes delicious. We install a drain pump with the unit, and that means you can have up to 40 feet away and 10 feet high to run a line if you do not have a drain nearby. So I want you to stay tuned for more commercial products as we grow our collection. There's my name and phone number and email there. If you're interested or have any questions afterwards, take the time to write it down, and I'd be happy to discuss this presentation or any other products that you have questions about. Thank you. Any questions, or I guess you let me know what goes next, Alberto.
Yes, I'm here, Michael. Does anybody have any questions? And by the way, Michael, great presentation. That was fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, looks like we're good.
Okay.
Thanks, Michael.
My pleasure. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Michael.
Yep. Bye now.
Talk soon.